Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
In answer to his question about the subjects.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Command, Talk Today.
Oh, what a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? There are hopeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a very happy Wednesday. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Yet another diverse show today, and we'll be kicking off with a chat with the dynamic duo of the National Trust and the Botanic Park in regards to blue iguana conservation efforts. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions and invite you to join the conversation. Simply dial 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Or you can always WhatsApp us at 925-3261. We will have open line later in the show from 1:30 to 2:30, and no shortage of hot topics out there for us to have a quick talk about today. We'll be back with more Talk Today following this very brief disclaimer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And now very pleased to have in studio Mr. John Loris from the Botanic Park, who will also be joined in a little bit with Miss Anique Jackman and Mr. Luke Harding, here to talk about the blue iguana conservation efforts. But before we get to the blue iguana conservation programs, John, we had a few events that we were promoting for you on the show a few weeks back, the plant sale.
Yeah, good afternoon. I really appreciate the promotion that was given by Radio Cayman. We had a very successful plant sale. We cleaned out our nursery, making more space for new plants, new propagations. We also had a free day, so it was a great community event for that day. We had I don't know the exact numbers, but hundreds of visitors to the Botanic Park that day.
Great.
We sold lots of plants. It was free admission to the Botanic Park, and also it was the first day that the combined Blue Iguana Botanic Park offering was made to the public. So for that day, although the Botanic Park was free, it was only $5 for anyone to visit the Blue Iguana conservation area, which has been recently redone and is a fabulous place that all of us residents need to visit as much as we can, especially during these times. But the Botanic Park, although it seems far away, it's not really that far, and it's the best medicine you can get is taking a walk in nature.
It's true, it's especially with the weather being as cool it is right now. The rains have subsided, the heat has subsided, and it's cool enough weather to actually get outside and really get yourself immersed in nature right now. Yeah,
and the humidity has dropped about 25%. It's amazing what a week difference can make in how you feel comfortable, even just walking in the park. The Christmas breeze is here now, so hopefully it continues for the next few weeks.
No, absolutely. So I think when we spoke on the phone last time, you mentioned you're going to try to do these plant sales every so often as the new seedlings come to fruition.
Hopefully it's a quarterly offering. It takes time to grow the cuttings onto something that is marketable, But it provides locally grown plants at a reasonable price for the public. It's always a great turnout. Everyone enjoys not just getting the plants, but speaking to the staff and getting help from the staff, getting tidbits and ideas on where plants should be planted or where they could be used. And it's part of the community. We are a part of the community, and we really appreciate the support from the community.
You had mentioned, I believe, there was the recycling the pots. If people brought in, if I remember correctly, 10 pots, they got $1 off.
Yeah, there was.
How did that go?
It went all right.
Okay.
I expected more.
Okay.
I know there's so many plant people that have pots, but plant people also like to tend to hold on to things too, so that I might use that pot in the future. So we did have a few. We did offer some discounts to the people that assisted with that. It's the best we can do is ask for little recycling efforts to start.
No, absolutely. And every little bit counts. It's funny you said that, how plant people tend to hold on to things. I'm a plant person, and you're absolutely correct. Like, we just don't throw anything away when it comes to our gardening stuff.
No, I mean, you look behind a plant person's shed, and there's pots everywhere, and things that it's going to wait. I might have a use for that at some point.
That's exactly it. Like, and it's funny because I saw.
And again, that's reusing something. You're not throwing it away.
No,
so
exactly.
That's a good thing in itself.
It is. It's funny that it's just interesting how you brought that up, because I'm sure there's probably other listeners right now who are going, yeah, I'm one of those rat packs that just never throws the broken pots away, and they sit in the back there, and I'll glue it together one day. And
yeah, even the clay pots, when if they break down, you can use them in the bottom of another clay pot to make sure the drainage is all right. So everything has its use.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're just trying to save a little buck by bringing it back into the park and reusing it again.
No, absolutely. Was there any work with the Agricultural Department or the Agricultural Society in regards to this event?
No, we not specifically.
Okay.
We had 3 farmers there that were selling produce, vegetable seedlings, and also small fruit trees. So these 3 farmers, Joel Walton, Patrick Panton, and the young guy from a farm that were participating. They had a great reception. They were greatly welcomed by everybody, and it was a great feature. It's the first time we welcomed in kind of an agricultural side for people to sell their produce, and definitely they're all in for the next one.
Oh, great! My next question was, how is that going to play into the next future ones?
They're going to be part of it, and I can imagine it growing as we grow.
Potentially the farmers market for the eastern districts in the future?
Possibly. I mean, as the island grows, the population is moving out east, and not everybody wants to make that drive. And it's not a big drive, but if we have something at the Botanic Park on a regular basis, it's going to be a draw in itself.
Absolutely. Now, was there any kind of artisans? Because I know a lot of the farmers markets tend to become artisans and farmers, and a conglomeration of homemade for sale items. Is that something you could see happening with these sales?
Most definitely. I mean, I would welcome anything that is created locally, artisan plants, pots, art even. We hope to have a nice art show next year at some point. But this one was pretty much strictly produce and saplings and stuff that people could easily take home. Are you
going to see the plants become more seasonal as well?
Most definitely, especially the cooler weather. I mean, this is the time the peppers are going, the tomatoes are going, stuff that you wouldn't typically get in the hotter months. So
that's fantastic.
That's the time to get these things in the ground.
I cover a lot of the agricultural elements from the ag shows, and I love seeing how the different farmers and all the different groups all come together, because everyone comes together on their own merits, right?
Mm-hmm,
like it takes the group like yourself to organize that scenario. It takes Mr. Hamlin to organize the farmers market. It takes these independent initiatives to really keep it going.
Yep.
And next thing you know, you have a whole culture that's actually developed around.
And that's one thing that what we've all gone through and what we are going through with COVID is it's realizing how important local food is made available to us here, because the reality is that we are okay, but having the ability to buy something locally that's grown locally and having that supply here is ever more important, and growing growing more important as you look at the global scale.
No, absolutely correct. You see a lot of the vertical farms have become quite common in jurisdictions, and it just offers the escape from needing horizontal landscape to actually make it work. Right?
Needing the space.
It's the space. Space is always that big issue. Land and real estate is that rare commodity. We can't get more horizontal.
Exactly. So we got to go up.
So we got to go up. And we see that with buildings, and we haven't seen a huge stretch for that in the Caribbean with farming for that.
Yeah.
Those vertical farms and requiring structures.
It's coming. It's coming.
It is coming. I guess at some point you're going to see that become the norm.
Exactly.
You could be abnormal if you didn't go up with your farm, right? On that note, let's go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll dabble in the conversation on the blue iguana conservation efforts. Back with more talk today right after this.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
By popular demand to serve our valued customers, Puritan Cleaners has revised its schedule for all 3 locations effective immediately. Monday to Saturdays, Eastern Avenue from 7:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Elgin Avenue from 8 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Savannah Countryside 10 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Your orders may be transferred to any other Puritan store to suit your working and shopping needs. Let us help you to be ready for those special events coming up. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Attention Caymanians, the registration deadline for the 2021 elections is January 4th. Caymanians turning 18 on or before the May 26 election may register now.
Every vote will count in our May 2021 general election.
In order to vote in the 2021 elections, you must register by the 4th of January. For more information, visit elections.ky or the elections office at Baytown Office Suites opposite the Wharf Restaurant.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard.
And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and pleased to have in studio the affectionately dubbed National Trust and Blue Iguana Conservation Programs from the Botanic Park, the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin, we were just joking about. Ms. Anique Jackman, Mr. Luke Harding, and Mr. John Loris all joining us today. Welcome to Talk Today again.
Thank you.
All right, Anique, so before the break, we were chatting with John about the Botanic Park initiatives and the recent plant sales and their up-and-comings. Let's turn the spotlight on to the National Trust and what you all have been doing.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for having us. At the National Trust, we've been very busy because, as you can imagine, COVID has changed our model significantly. You know, we've been heavily dependent on support from our visitors for the last few years, and that has reduced our some of our revenue, etc. But we also see it as an opportunity to get our local community into our various attractions and to get the local community more involved in our programs. And it has also allowed for collaboration. So this particular promotion that we're doing with the Tourism Attractions Board, specifically with the Botanic Park and John and his team, we're really excited to be a part of that, to showcase the best of both worlds. In terms of the trust, there's a lot that we've been doing in terms of our conservation programs. So we're focusing today on our blue iguana program, but we do have our bat conservation program. And bats have been getting a bad rap for 2019, but we want to make sure we mention them and show them some love for our species here in Cayman. And we currently have our ongoing bat program happening, where we're doing the bat extractions because, as you people know, it's illegal to remove bats from their homes. So we do that. And we also provide bat houses as an alternative safe space for the bats. So that's one level. And then, of course, there's Blue Iguana. And Luke is here, and he'll fill you all in on the great work that has been happening with the Blue Iguana Conservation Program. So that's just a tip of the iceberg. If you all had like 4 hours, I could talk about all our historic programming and all of our great houses.
If you have 4 minutes.
Whew, this is going to be really, this is like speed minute. It's like speed 4 minutes. But also, we also have our, so that's the conservation from the environment side.
Okay.
But we also have our historic side, and that is just as important for us under our mandate at the Trust. People know us for Mission House, but we have Nurse Layla's in West Bay. And we're currently getting ready to do some work with that with the West Bay District Committee through the Trust. And then we have Jackson's Wall. I don't think people even know that that's a little treasure hidden in Savannah. And then, of course, Fort Street and the Lighthouse in East End. So we have several kind of historic properties throughout Grand Cayman. And then, of course, in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, we do have a very active trust presence.
Yes, you do.
So people would be familiar, for example, with the work with the boobies in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. But they are also actively pushing out the conservation programs in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. So I have to show them some love as well.
Can I ask you a question about Jackson's Wall?
Yes.
Why is it that so many people don't know about this wall? I only found out about it this year.
See, there's some of the things that we're working on, some additional education and awareness for our public to know about all these gems that we have. We're also going to be working on signage as well, additional signage, so people can locate these things because, sometimes you drive past them and you don't even realize. We have the Savannah Schoolhouse. I'm sure people drive past the Savannah Schoolhouse and don't realize it because they're so focused on getting out of traffic. But, they could just turn and they look and it's right there located by the post office. Beautiful little historic site. So all of these things, where the team is working on for 2021 to be really able to push that out so the public can get more immersed in them.
Oh, absolutely. And then on the bat extraction program. So bats get in your house, you can't remove them, but the National Trust can come out.
Well, you can contact the National Trust and we'll help you. We'll assist with you. There's a whole program behind that. So just contact the National Trust for more information.
And then you provide bat houses as well for the community if they want to actually start their own bat collection.
Well, I wouldn't say bat collection.
Bat family? Bat family?
But no, if you know that what we've got is outreach, people who know their bats in their neighborhood, for example, their neighborhoods and, stratas where they have a bat house erected so the bats have a place that they can reside and they're specially built. So there is a cost for that. So let me just put that out to the public. There's a cost for the bat house. But again, that's a beautiful element of awareness if you have a bat house in your community to be able to observe the behavior of the species and just to keep them safe.
How about to reduce our mosquito population as well?
That is huge.
Can we do that as well?
Yes.
That should be like the selling point, like cut down your mosquitoes.
Au naturel.
Yeah, au naturel. Let's stop this. That's that should be the selling point, I think.
That is true.
After every rain, do you have a mosquito problem? Contact us. That's the selling point. And then obviously the blue iguana conservation efforts.
Yeah.
So you mentioned getting creative and being really busy because of the natural visitor downturn in the population, right? Or the visitor downturn right now. Are we going to see more combination efforts between the National Trust and other organizations such as the Botanic Park that we've seen here with this new promotion?
Hopefully so.
Okay.
I think that one of the things that this situation has forced us all to do is that we're no longer our own little islands.
Sure.
We all have to collaborate and push it out. So that's why I'm so happy to be able to partner with John and the Botanic Park for us to do this, because they're located in the same area, two fabulous programs, and we want the public to come out and experience it.
That's great. All right. Luke.
Hi.
How you doing? Let's get you in this
Yeah,
conversation.
very well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. I can sit a little closer. There you go.
Yeah.
So walk us through your personal experience here, like your personal background as far as being a scientist.
Yeah, so I'm a conservation biologist. I have been for the last 14 years, and my major area of interest is reptiles and amphibians. They fascinate me, and especially when it comes to islands, because islands are really unique, such as Cayman, because islands have less diversity, less number of species, but what they have is more endemic, so only found. And Grand Cayman has the jewel of all reptiles, and that's the blue iguana. It's an iconic, world-renowned species because it's bright blue. It's really unique, but also it's a world-renowned program because the Blue Iguana Conservation, used to be formerly known as Blue Iguana Recovery Program, is a pioneer in reptile conservation. This project did it all. It took a species from the brink of extinction with less than 25 animals and has brought that number right back up to 1,000, which is just a remarkable example in a world where there's so many conservation pressures that if we act, we can do something. It's a great story. But really now is moving into a really interesting phase of the next stage of that. So bringing it back, if you will, stopping the extinction is step one. What's really fascinating now is we're coming into almost phase 2 of the program's story, which is whether all that hard work can pay off for future generations. So we've got those numbers back. We've bought ourselves time almost, pressed a pause button on the extinction. But now what's important is that we create an environment that means that the species can survive for future generations to enjoy.
Absolutely. And as far as your personal background have you worked in other jurisdictions with similar programs on reptiles?
Yeah, so I've been really fortunate to walk all around the world with different reptile species. In the Caribbean, in Dominica and Montserrat with amphibians, crocodiles in India. I've had a really diverse background. I've been really lucky to work with lots of different cultures, lots of different islands. And, I feel really privileged to have an opportunity to come here and to work with the teams I get to work with and build the in-situ capacity here with young Caymanians that our team's built up with to make sure that we pass on those skill sets so that there's enough skills here between the Department of Environment, the Botanic Park, the National Trust to have the skills to manage their own conservation programs in the future as we're building. So that's really exciting, and we have some fantastic young staff at the facility who are hungry to learn, put the time in. It's a really exciting period for blue iguanas.
You can sense the enthusiasm in your voice.
Yeah, it is. It's a really exciting program, and it never gets old. There's some huge challenges, but if the story of blue iguana conservation can't motivate people to see what's possible, then I don't think any conservation story out there would.
Now, you mentioned the Blue Iguana program is unique worldwide. Have you worked or know of other programs that are similar in nature that have had the success rate that this program has to go from less than 25 to where our numbers at right now?
So there's programs that have started, there's programs that have been in worse places. So Jamaican iguanas have a very similar program, a very similar story in some aspects, almost believed to be extinct and rediscovered, but their numbers aren't as far on as ours. We at the moment are one of the most successful reptile projects that's ever been conducted in the world. But I can't stress enough that was kind of step one. If anything, that was the easy part, as it's said now, in the sense that bringing the numbers back. What really matters now is that we start to look more detail now about why the population went to those extremes. Because when you look at the threats that exist for the blue iguanas, most of the threats that drove this species to going extinct have not gone away. If anything, they've got worse. So what we've done is bought ourselves the time now to address those threats, but also to be encouraged and realise that the blue iguanas are living proof that if we do act, no matter how bad things have got, we can make a real difference. With support and future support, blue iguanas can and will recover on Grand Cayman.
So when you mentioned the threats that have not gone away, what are those threats?
So blue iguanas have many threats. We have, the increasing development on the island, the amount of natural space. Historically, going way back, we would have imagined that blue iguanas would have pretty much been found or existed all over Grand Cayman. We now know that isn't the case. They're isolated to 3 small designated populations, 2 out in the wilds on the east end of the island, in locations that are owned reserves by and managed reserves by the National Trust and DOE. And then we have an insurance population, if you will, one managed within the Botanical Park, which is actually a really key relationship we have with the park and a great example of collaboration for all these years. And through that collaboration and effort, that population is our most secure because that's the only one we know where the blue iguanas breed and those the babies can survive. So their development in lack of space, like everywhere, is a threat, and it's a threat that's not going away. So we need to learn to understand better how much space they need and how to coexist. And we know iguanas can coexist with people. We see it on some of the sister islands. We know it can happen, but it needs responsible ownership. And responsible behaviour of people, I think, is the key threat. And I link that in because that's led to a lot of the issues they face. So feral cats is a big issue for our iguanas. You know, I know people think they're fed, they're supported, feral cats are good. Feral cats are a big problem globally for wildlife, but here we know for a fact that they're a threat to our young iguanas. People's dogs, not so much feral. We have a fantastic humane society on the island. They do great work, but unmanaged pets, people not being responsible with their ownership, has affected the blue iguanas across all their wild range. Even within the Botanical Park, it's something we work really closely with John and his team to try to mitigate. But we can't do that alone, you know. Every iguana death to a pet dog that's not managed is a loss that sets the program back years. Dogs have a horrible habit of targeting our adult iguanas. So when we lose our 15 to 20-year-old males, it's a huge hit. It sets the program back so far. And when we started with so few, we cannot afford to lose the genetics of those animals. So that's really, really important. And then just general behaviour, you know. We understand development's going to happen. We can't protect the whole island for blue iguanas, but we can build in a sensitive way. We can put percentages of our garden. We can do things to live alongside blue iguanas. And mainly cars is the other threat. And that's something we can all do something about. We can drive more responsibly. Now, I know there's confusion sometimes given about green iguanas, the threats they pose and the need or the publicised demand to cull green iguanas. And sometimes people misidentify, but you know, we must be sensible of how we drive, and we mustn't be using cars as weapons to euthanize animals anyway. So people mustn't be running over iguanas. If you're on the east end of the island, the likelihood is that's the place you'll see blue iguanas. So please drive slowly and carefully, because it may be 5 minutes of your time that it adds on, but it's a lifetime for this species that you're taking away every time you hit one. So
excellent way to put that analogy. Thank you so much for
No
that.
problem at all.
On that note, Luke, we do have to go to a quick commercial break. We can come back. We'll be talking more about your promotion and have a few more questions about your Blue Iguana program. Back with more talk today right after this.
During December, CUC's subcontractors UMC and PSEL will be conducting aggressive tree trimming between 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. on Northward Road and several side roads. Due to excessive growth, the trees and vegetation in the Northwood area have become an imminent safety hazard to power lines and must be trimmed back immediately. Motorists have been asked to exercise caution and due diligence when driving in the Northwood area and be on the lookout for the bright orange utility work ahead signage, as there will be temporary lane blockages and traffic management in place. CUC is responsible for providing safe and reliable electrical service to Grand Cayman, and to satisfy this responsibility, it is necessary to ensure that trees and other vegetation do not obstruct or interfere with power lines or constitute an unacceptable source of danger. Landowners are reminded that it is their responsibility to maintain the trees and vegetation away from power lines on their properties. Subsequent tree trimming by CUC will incur a cost, and this cost will be charged to the landowners. For more information, contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Kirk Freeport's $40,000 Christmas sweepstakes is back. Spend $100 on your favorite Kirk Freeport store, and you could win one of 3 $5,000 cash prizes or one of 5 $1,000 cash prizes. All purchases of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. There will be the annual Rolex watch prize draw on January 4th and loads of other great prizes. Our small boxes give big surprises and a Christmas full of great prizes. Full details on KirkFreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Are you ready for the reggae show of the year? Bacardi presents One Love concert series, bringing to you Mr. Notch and Locomotion 345, Stuart Wilson, Erica Asai, and DJ Nico. It's going down Saturday, December 12th at Coral Beach. Tickets only $25. VIP inclusive drink, $65. Cabana packages, $200. Available now at eventpro.ky.
Brought to you by Bacardi, Burger Shack, Supermix, Rubis, and Radio Cayman.
Okay, man, moon.
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above. We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And here in studio, Ms. Anique Jackman from the National Trust, Mr. Luke Harding from the Blue Iguana Conservation Program, and Mr. John Loris from the Botanic Park, here discussing a new promotion between the two organizations of the National Trust and the Botanic Park, in a collaborated effort towards promotion of the Blue Iguana Conservation Programs. Now, one quick question I did have for you, Luke, in relation to the blue iguanas. I'd ask you off there, but for our listeners' sake, what do we see as the reasons why the green iguana populations have flourished so much without any assistance from us? And on the flip side of it, the blue iguanas requiring so much human capital involvement to help save their species.
So you're dealing with biologically two really different species as well. So when you look to like the breeding, the amount of eggs and the amount of young iguanas that greens can produce is 80 plus twice a year. When you compare that to the endemic blue iguana, which can produce 3 to 18 once a year. But the primary reason they do better isn't just their fecundity, how well they breed. It's just their specialisms and their levels of sensitivity. So green iguanas are hardy iguanas. I always say they breed in a dustbin, but green iguanas will breed anywhere. They can eat just about anything, garbage, you name it, they'll eat it. They're a really well-adapted hardy species, where the blue iguanas are a lot more sensitive. And blue iguanas also evolved to have no predators. So if you try to approach a green iguana, it will run away a lot of the time. If you approach an adult blue iguana, it tends to head bob and sit there and look at you. We have iguanas that have been run over multiple times and still sit in front of cars now. So it's just not, them instincts aren't there for survival at their older age, and that's the category of threat. But basically green iguanas are just more adapted to breed fast and take over island life quicker than the specialist blue iguanas that we have.
Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem.
This is one of those, we see the rock iguana, blue iguana, green iguanas, and the green iguanas definitely have a robust survival mechanism that's keeping them going.
They do.
All right, Anique, so back to you now. We have this joint promotion between the Botanic Park and National Trust. Tell us a bit about it, the actual promotion itself.
So this promotion is called Best of Both Worlds, and basically for $10 you can visit the Botanic Park and, of course, the Blue Iguana Conservation Program. We're located in the same space, so just hop next door, literally, and you can have a self-guided tour of the Blue Iguanas program. So I would say to people, this is a beautiful opportunity. Christmas is coming up. You're looking for things to do with your family.
Sure.
The holidays. Don't listen to I'm bored. Take the whole family out and have a fantastic time at the Botanic Park and seeing the blue iguanas. $10, that's a price you can't beat. And you just pull up to the Botanic Park and you just pay your $10. They'll give you a wristband, I believe, to get into the blue iguanas so they see and know that you're there for the self-guided tour. And we would just say, it's running through December. This is our test period, right, John?
Correct.
Okay.
And possibly extended.
Depending on how
Great.
well it goes. So we encourage the public, just to come out now and spend some time at the facilities. It's gorgeous. You see the Botanic Park. I love being in the Botanic Park. And then you heard Luke talking. I just love to go out and kind of learn more and see the iguanas. There's just so much to help you appreciate what we have in our own backyard. And I encourage the public to get out and do it. And if you've done it, you can go do it again. I'm sure there's something new you will learn.
Yeah. We get the nice drive out towards the eastern side of the islands. You get the walk through nature. You get to experience the blue iguana conservation. Now, will they get to interact with the blue iguanas during the self-guided tour? Is that part of this?
So our iguanas are in both within the Botanic Park, there's no boundaries, and in our facility we have lots of what we call our semi-wild habitats, which are open-aired spaces where our iguanas live. And we don't do any hands-on with our iguanas because our iguanas have got to go to the wild, and as we were discussing, them being too tame with all those threats isn't good. But our iguanas interact with the public. They'll head bob, they'll be charismatic. And I work at that facility every day with my team, 365 days a year, and I see something new all the time. Every day is entertaining. They fall off branches, they're climbing, they're eating. They are just the most amazing animals to see, and the two tours just complement each other. The park is beautiful. You can see how these iguanas are adapted to survive and the habitat they have to in, and then you can come and peek behind the curtains of the secret lives of these animals at the facility, because that's what it is. You get a unique chance with no time rush to be able to get a real close and personal look at them. It's an amazing experience.
That's fantastic. It's like how you went. The first one was you get to see them fall off the branches, and
they do. They're amusing animals.
That's fantastic.
I like what you said, Luke. The secret lives of the blues.
Yeah, like get to peek behind the secret veil, right?
But it is, and the two complement. Like I say, you can really understand how they're adapted to survive in the environment you get to walk through at the Botanic Park and see all the habitats, and then you can come back and see the journey of that from all the different age groups and see all the story that's involved in bringing them back.
No, absolutely. Can be a random question. Do you ever see a day where we actually get to do the iguanas as a pet scenario? Is that ever going to come to point?
You can't talk for the future, but I imagine the answer is, to some degree, no. And also why. These guys don't really like pets. They're not a species that like being handled or particularly like human interaction. And you don't need them because they're in your back garden.
Sure.
You can go and see them at Blue Iguanas for $10 along with the Botanic Park and get to see them. You have them, and if we look after it, there's no reason you can't have iguanas in your backyard in the future. All over the island. But I would discourage people from having them as pets. They don't like it, and if grabbed or handled, they can be grumpy. So I would leave them alone.
Pretty tough to replicate their necessities.
No, absolutely.
So
I'm glad you
people want them. The best bet is, especially if you live on the east end of the island or Queens Highway, you can adapt your environment to be suitable. Then the iguanas will come. So
I'm glad you guys said it, because that's always the first thought maybe we have is, once you see something awesome in nature, you tend to say you want to put it in a cage and keep it in your own house, right? And it's destructive to them, but I'm glad you actually elaborate on why that's the case. Back to the
and actually, to that point, when you go visit them, that's also something important for the public to take in mind. We see this, and you watch these videos where people go to zoos and they do all kind of random things with wildlife, and so you have to have a healthy respect. So when you come to the Blue Iguana facility, you're not trying to randomly interact and touch them either. So we want the public to know that. Take your pictures, try to do your selfie, away from the iguanas, but it's not about coming to pet.
Yes, don't chase them. Trying to get a little hug.
Yes, exactly, because we know there are people who will try.
Unfortunately, you do have to put that disclaimer out there. Listen, don't chase the iguanas. But it's a fair one, because people do tend to want to get close or pound on the glass or...
Yeah, we've had instances at the park. I mean, like Luke said, the blue iguanas have no fear. They never had a natural predator, so unfortunately, human instinct, let's feed that animal. And then once you feed a wild animal, it becomes a learned behavior. So and then you have blue iguanas literally charging a person for some food, and then they have to go back into the iguana protected area because it is a potential threat to a visitor. So we strongly encourage people to take a picture with their mind, take a picture with their camera of the ones that are free roaming in the park, and also in behind the curtain at the Blue Iguana Conservation Area.
That's another one. I'm glad you put that out there. Let's not condition these animals to chase us. All right, so back to the promotion again. It's running from dates and times, please.
Okay.
It's running through January 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Tuesday through Sunday. It's only during those times that you can come to both programs. It's 10 CI. There really isn't much more economical something you can do for 10 CI.
No, of course.
It's also providing valuable income for both the Blue Iguana facility and the Botanic Park. Right now we offer resident rate, which is only 5 CI, and then the Blue Iguana and the National Trust came together to reduce their rates to hopefully encourage more residents to come out, especially during this holiday season, to see the Botanic Park and see the blue iguanas. We hope to see everybody out over the holidays. The only days that are affected are Christmas Day, we're closed. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we close at noon.
Okay.
So, like Anik said, this is a trial run, and depending how it goes, it may be possibly extended, and we'll go from there. But I mean, pack a lunch, enjoy the Botanic Park, and then go see the blue iguanas behind the curtain.
And I also, if I can, do a plug. We do have another event coming up. It's called Bubbles with the Blues. Now, this is going to be more of a guided kind of experience. This promotion is self-guided. So contact the National Trust and learn more about that. It's coming up this weekend, Bubbles with the Blues. And, of course, please support all of the Trust programming. There are a lot of other activities we do. And the same with the Botanic Park. There are a lot of other events that are coming up. So check us out on our websites and see our calendar of events for support, because your support is needed for the Trust programming and for the programming of the Botanic Park.
Yeah, and I'll put one more plug in too.
There's no such thing as a shameless plug. Plug away.
During this holiday time, we're doing a special holiday Christmas guided tour of the Botanic Park that's being offered by Miss Haley Reed. It's going to be on Saturday, the 19th of December, for a special guided tour of Christmas themes and plants that are used traditionally around Christmas time in the Cayman Islands. Again, contact info at Botanic Park. Very small capacity. We're trying to keep things intimate, just like the Blue Iguana is with the Breakfast with the Blues, to give a nice experience. So all these little events add up to helping both of us out in a big way.
Yeah.
Sure. So Bubbles Blues or Breakfast of Blues?
Well, there will be breakfast, and it's going to be a kind of a nice kind of continental breakfast, and with some bubbles, because it's Christmas. Why not have some bubbles? And the team will be there, and they will do a wonderful kind of guided tour and introduce the blue iguanas. We've done this in the past, I believe. And people have always thought the breakfast was for the blues, and that's fine. But yes, this one is a special event on Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. Come out and have a very specialized tour with the team to learn more about the blues, and then there will be some bubbles and some nibbles.
Bubbles and Nibbles.
Bubbles and
Blues.
Nibbles.
I like
yes.
that. There you go. There's a new name for you. Thank you all again. So again, to our listeners out there, this is the campaign between the National Trust and the Blue Iguana Conservation Program, along with the Botanic Park, from now until January 1st. That's from Tuesday through Sunday, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. $10 per person for a self-guided tour of the park and the Blue Iguana initiatives. And Luke, again, a great job you all are doing with your efforts over at the Botanic Park.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, and we'll look forward to more shameless plugs. Please send them all through, and we'll definitely get them on air for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. With that note, we have to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with the team from the National Drug Center. We'll be back more talk today right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands has 24 active COVID-19 cases, with a new positive reported in the 337 tests reported since Tuesday. The individual is an asymptomatic traveler. Of the 24 active cases, 19 are asymptomatic, but 5 have symptoms. More than 1,500 people are in isolation. In international news, U.S. entrepreneur Elon Musk has launched the latest prototype of his Starship vehicle from Texas. Codenamed SN8, the uncrewed rocket lifted away from the Boca Chica R&D facility on what had been billed as a brief flight to 41,000 feet. The 50-meter-tall vehicle crashed on touchdown, but Mr. Musk was delighted with how much the test outing achieved. Starship will launch people and cargo into orbit, and the entrepreneur also envisages the vehicle traveling to the moon and Mars. A memorial dedicated to Anne Frank was desecrated with stickers showing swastikas. The Anne Frank Memorial in Boise, Idaho was vandalized on Tuesday. The stickers had swastikas with the words, "We are everywhere," written on them. The singer Taylor Swift has announced Thursday that she is dropping her 9th studio album. The album will be out tonight at midnight Eastern, called Evermore. Her 8th album, Folklore, dropped this summer to both critical and commercial success.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public could say.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and now pleased to have in studio, part of the National Drug Council Purple Ribbon Campaign. We have Ms. Lisa Hernandez from the NDC and Mr. Jay Mumtaz.
That's it.
From Hurley's Media, and we've promised him safe passage out of the building today. So I don't know how he got past our bodyguard, Miss Susan, but somehow she let him into the building, so he's got to stay.
Well, I appreciate the safe passage.
His bodyguard.
You stuck him past Miss Susan. Now I get it. Well, welcome to Talk Today, and
thank you for having us.
So before we get into the meat of the show, before December, with all our guests coming in, we were trying to get a feed from them on how they came through lockdown and how they experienced 2020 in their own regards. But now that we're coming towards 2021,
I'm so excited. Let's do this. I cannot wait for 2020 to be over.
Tossing the calendar out.
It's done. We're going to pretend it never happened.
So with that being said, then, any upcoming New Year's resolutions you put on your calendar?
To be honest, I haven't even thought about it. I've just been so, overwhelmed, for lack of better words, with Jay's phone calls and emails.
Hey, don't put this on me.
This is all your fault.
Us sales guys are known for that persistence.
Exactly. Apparently, I'm a salesperson too. Then
it runs in our blood. That's what we do.
So no New Year's resolutions at the moment.
Okay.
Just to be, I guess, the usual ones. Get a little healthier. Be a little healthier. I've already started the bit of the diet.
All right.
Kind of. Well, the new lifestyle. Let's not call it a diet.
Yeah, throw that word out.
Yeah, no. And save a little bit more. I spent a lot of money this year,
Really?
Mostly
online shopping?
Maybe.
Got locked down with your laptop and went,
woohoo,
here we go.
This. I'm stressed. Retail therapy. And then I went to the supermarket at almost every, every opportunity I got.
Yeah. That was our escape. That was going on vacation for us.
I was like, people, oh my goodness, they're here.
How about for December? Any plans for December?
No, just trying to, keep a quiet December.
Good for you.
After New Year's Eve.
After New Year's Eve, you're going to let it all go.
So we're going to start over the month, kind of, for a day.
I like it. Jay, same to you. Anything planned for New Year's resolutions for 2021?
Man.
Where do I begin?
I haven't even thought about it.
Okay, fair enough. Hey?
But, I guess the usual, lifestyle. Making sure that healthy and happy and everything's going smooth, really. I haven't put anything down and written in stone.
Okay.
We'll see.
Did you have retail therapy 2020 as well?
Oh, no.
No, you're like,
don't be lying.
Not really
Jay.
my thing.
Is it not?
No.
Really?
No.
You're good.
I did the opposite, actually. I kind of saved a bit more. I don't really do anything.
Are you?
I'm bored as hell, though. I could do with a vacation.
I completely agree. I have a 3-month kind of like depression, if for lack of better words, as well.
Okay.
So like every 3 months, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get on a plane. So I've gone to the BRAC once. So I think I might be going again this month because where else am I going to go?
Little Cayman?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Little Cayman. But I mean, I can't go to like the U.S. or England or
No,
anything.
of course. Well, we just had the Botanic Park on, so they have their program promotion going for the next with the National Trust for the next month.
Okay,
Escape
well,
out to
that
the
could be nice.
to the Eastern Districts for a little bit, and
a little bit of the wilderness.
you know, a day trip does help, right? Like
It does.
Like it's not like getting on a plane and going to Europe for 6 weeks,
Right.
But a day trip can definitely chop out that stress at least by
Good
a
for
few
the
weeks.
mental health.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Especially this weather, right?
Yes.
Yeah, nice
we can
drive
have
out
this
there.
weather all winter long. Winter in Cayman.
We can call it winter.
All December long would be nice.
We can call it winter. It's 2020. We can pretty much make up anything we want at this point.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, jumping out to the NDC, we have the Purple Ribbon Campaign. Tell us a bit about, because it's been going for quite a while.
Yes, we've been doing the Purple Ribbon Bus and the designated driver for 20 years. And I believe Hurley's Media has also been doing the Purple Ribbon Pledge for almost about the same amount of time. And so we decided to marry NDC and Hurley's Media,
It's a
our
powerful word.
campaigns. Yes.
It's a very powerful word.
We came together and we got married. And we made Arrive Alive 345.
All right. Okay. I didn't actually.
He was like, wait, what?
It took me a second to actually really put that together.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
So now the campaign's called Arrive Alive 345, and under that umbrella, there's the Purple Ribbon Pledge, which a lot of people may know, and Jay will get into that in a minute. If you remember the ribbons on the magnets on the car, we do the designated driver as well. So people who head out to bars and restaurants across the island, they'll get the opportunity to get a non-alcoholic beverages as well at these different locations. As long as they let people know that they are the designated driver. And then the Purple Ribbon Bus is only on the 31st and the 1st of January. The 31st of December and the 1st of January.
1st of January in the early morning hours?
Correct. Okay. So 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. On the 1st of January. So I'll be running it in. People can log on to ndc.ky as well as Hurley's Media's website and get more information on the locations and kind of, where the buses will be going. We are going to be traveling from West Bay to East End here throughout those hours. We have different locations where the bus you can catch the bus. It is free. And then in the BRAC, similar idea as well.
So you do
Similar
have a
concept.
BRAC bus again this year?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And what's the BRAC route going to be?
I will get into that a little bit later the next time we get closer to that time, yes.
So logistics are still working out for that one?
Yes.
All right. But for the Grand Cayman bus, that will be running through West Bay and East End.
Yes. So you
and
can
catch,
you can catch the bus. Let's say if you're north side, you can catch the bus at Civic Center. That'll bring you down. We have two buses running from two locations rather that you could take that bus as well. So at one point the bus is going to be going on that what's that called? East-West Arterial.
Yep.
And then, of course, on Shamrock Road. And then you can, stop off at Grand Harbor, catch another bus, and then head down to town, and then down to Camana Bay or Kimpton, and different locations on the 7 Mile Beach, Morgan's Harbor, Papagallo, those areas as well. And you could take same routes back up. So people will be seeing that bright, beautiful purple light that the RCIPS has so kindly, because we're in partnership with them as well, so kindly approved. Yes,
so
we married.
You're not married to them. You're married to Hurley's.
We're married to Hurley's. Yes.
Okay. So what's their influence in the relationship then?
Well, of course, RCIPS being on board is really important for us.
Absolutely,
The support that they have over the past, 20 years is really been great. They're always there with us in regards to, speaking about safe driving and ways in which they're going to be out on the roads and checking and that kind of thing. So, yeah, they play a huge role, obviously.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
They run that night.
Yeah, well, yes.
They do.
Kind of. Yes.
Everything
We do the bus. They do everything else.
Everything else.
Yes.
No, absolutely. And Jay, how do you feel about the marriage so far?
Oh, it's fantastic.
All right.
Happy marriage.
You really can't say anything else, right?
No.
Men in relationships, we understand this. This is kind of, we can say, yes, dear, that's,
yes.
and whatever happens, happens.
Everything's amazing.
Well, it is 2020, right? So we had this joke the other day that happy wife, happy life, and I had to stop and went, no. 2020 now. It's happy spouse, happy house, right?
Ooh,
so we got to balance out this conversation.
I like that.
That brings a little balance to the conversation.
I like that. Okay.
So talk to us about Hurley's role in this whole scenario, because I think Lisa mentioned not the full 20 years, but you've been involved for a fair bit of the campaign throughout the past 20 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of implemented the Purple Ribbon campaign, I think it was, close to 20 years ago.
Okay.
And the whole concept of that was that we got obviously our sponsors help us kind of all put this together. Without the help of them, we wouldn't be able to. But the whole idea of it was over kind of, late November, all of December, take the Purple Ribbon Pledge. You can pick up one of the magnets at one of the sponsor locations and, put it on your vehicle. It's a car magnet. And it's really just taking that pledge to not drink and drive over the holiday season. We got Christmas parties, we got New Year's parties, it's just festive season, so a lot's going on. And I think people can kind of, just think, I've only had a couple of drinks, it's all right. And, just seeing that magnet and reminding themselves that, okay, I took the pledge, I'm not going to do this, let me catch a taxi or call a friend or something like that. The whole point of it is to keep people safe on the roads, and to kind of help save lives, really.
Very noble. And as far as the magnets themselves, where can people get those magnets?
So they can get them at a variety of different locations. NDC has them if you want to go to their office. Blackbeard's locations have them. Peskill, Kirk Motors Napa, Security Centre, Island Electronics, Brit K, and Jake Scott locations.
Is there any charge to actually get the magnet?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Do you have to sign up at all? Or they just go in and pick up a magnet and off they go?
They can sign up by going to the Hurley's Media website. We've got a kind of Arrive Alive 345 kind of pledge up there, and you can just kind of fill in your details and take the pledge to kind of not drink and drive.
Have you found historically there is an age market that's really signed up to the pledge, or is it across the board of all ages of drivers?
It's actually really good to see. It's all ages, people of all ages. Men,
women as well?
Men, women, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Exactly. So it's good to see the community support and involvement.
No, absolutely.
And yeah, we're really happy to kind of have taken that Purple Ribbon Pledge and combined with the NDC's excellent work they've been doing for 20 plus years with the designated driver program as well as the Purple Ribbon Bus. So it kind of like, instead of us having two separate campaigns, we merged and
Makes sense, yeah.
we created Arrive Alive 345, second year.
Second year, Arrival. I like the name. Who actually came up with the name Arrive Alive?
I think that was you.
It was, but I'm just going to go with it was collective. So we all had to make the decision together.
But it's a catchy name, right? Arrive Alive.
Happy spouse, happy house.
Happy. See, she's got the lingo nailed down right away. We're gonna have all the rhymes today. Arrive Alive, happy spouse.
Yes.
It works. So then you mentioned sponsors being involved.
Yes.
Is that sponsors that go into supporting the initiative overall? Is there anything? Like, what is the sponsor involvement with regards to this initiative?
So the sponsor involvement, basically, they help us cover all costs associated with the campaign.
Okay.
Buying the magnets, the buses, the taxis. I mean, how many buses and taxis do we have over Grand and the Barack?
We have a total of 19. So last year, I believe we had 10 buses on Grand Cayman, and we decided to increase the buses, or the amount of buses that were going to be traveling on this island, simply because we actually doubled from 2018 to 2019, right?
You doubled the number of buses?
We doubled in riders.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Great.
So because of such a positive increase in, that traffic, we said, you know what, it's really important for us because our community actually requested for us to increase the buses. And of course, increase our signage and our location just to make sure that, the more the merrier. And the at the end of the day, we do arrive alive. So we do have 15 buses this year here on Grand Cayman, and I believe 4 taxis over in the BRAC. And like Jay said, it's really important. This campaign has been going on for 20 years. We both have the same, at the end, we want the same result. Everyone to just, be responsible, think responsible, take the pledge, take the bus. We all want everyone to arrive alive, which is why we named it that, because it's really important. We've all been touched by the loss of life, of someone's life, when by being intoxicated or an accident that may have happened, and so just to put that out there and show the community that we are trying to be responsible and being having these initiatives that will help them to have a good time with their family and going out and still be able to get home safely. The restaurants that are on board for the designated driver has also, we've had a good impact, or a good outcome rather. And I'm just going to name the restaurants who are confirmed, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
We do have the Fish Shack, Country and Western, Coconut Joe's, Agua Restaurant and Lounge, Blue Cilantro, Cayman Cabana, Casa 43, Legends Bar and Grill Eats, Lavelle, Liberties, Lloyd's Smokehouse and Grill, Papagallo Restaurant, Sunset House, Sea Harvest, Thai Orchid, Welly's Cool Spot and Bar, Restaurant and Bar, Petey's Pub and Restaurant, Bacaro Restaurant, as well as Southwest Collective. And we've sent emails and called most of the restaurants on the island. We do recognize that people are super busy and, most of the time they're not really available during that lunch hour, but we do ask people to please let us know if you're going to take part. And currently I'm going with the stanzas. If you haven't corresponded with us, we're going to assume that you're still on board, and so we're going to bring your package to you. And when that happens, I guess you'll let us know. But as it stands, if you haven't responded, then I guess you're still on board, as you've been for the last 20 years.
By silent consent, you're in.
You're in.
You're in. So now the restaurants, just for our listeners that aren't fully aware, these are the drop-off locations for people that do want to take the bus from their location.
Well, you can, depending if it's on that, if the Purple Ribbon bus is driving on that stretch. But these restaurants are actually, they've decided that they're going to be responsible for those who say that they are the designated driver. And so if you are the designated driver and you head to one of these locations, or you see the decal, the little sticker on the restaurant door that says proud supporter of Arrive Alive 345, you say you're a designated driver, they give you a really cool key ring. I'm not sure if your cameras can catch this, which is very new for this campaign this year. This is the first time we are having this, and you will get this once you announce that you are the designated driver, and you get free non-alcoholic beverages when you do that. And so you could take this to any, it's not just there. Obviously, when you go to other restaurants, please don't take more than one key ring. Let's sharing is caring, and just let them know and. They're really, it's really impressive how these restaurants have said, you know what, we want to be responsible. We want to be responsible for the patrons. If someone is saying, listen, I'm the hero tonight, I'm saving lives, I'm going to sit and I'm going to have no alcoholic beverages. They're like, all right, cool, we got your back.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay.
I was just going to say, and the restaurants are kind of on board with that for the whole month of December, so...
Oh, so this is an entire month initiative.
Yes.
So at any point in this month, if you are a designated driver and you go to any of these restaurant locations,
correct,
you will get the free non-alcoholic beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do we see this ever broadening into a 12-month campaign?
It's funny you should ask.
We're good at those things as talk show hosts, right? We just ask those questions.
I know. It's something that we, I think, as a community would love to see.
Sure.
As an organization, we would definitely love for people out there who are listening and who want to be supporting this campaign to push this campaign to be year round, whether it's you're end of year Christmas party, or, you know, a huge event that's happening, carnival, you know, whatever festival we have, whatever event is happening, you know, it would be amazing for the Purple Ribbon Bus to be part of that. But of course, we can't make that possible without support. So for those who are listening, I actually said this last year as well. So for those who are listening, if you're interested, call Jay.
Call Jay. At Hurley's, you can say it a little louder. It's fine. Even though I already came in, you can say that name a little louder. It's okay for today's show.
Okay. At Hurley's
we only allow it
Media.
once a year, and it's during this interview.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, milk it while you can.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a shameless plug on a talk show.
Or, you know, you can call me, Delisa Hernandez, at the National Drug Council, 949-9000, and I could point you in the right direction as well for more information and ways we can go about that.
That's great. So I wouldn't mind if you actually read that list out one more time. However, do you realize you also use another rhyme, sharing is caring? So now we're up to 4 rhymes in this show. We have Arrive Alive.
Who am I?
Arrive Alive.
Arrive Alive.
Happy spouse, happy house. Happy wife, happy life. And you just pulled off sharing is caring.
Sharing is
Sharing is caring.
And we just need Jay now to come up with his own rhyme, and then we've got to
get it together, Jay.
No pressure.
You got 6 minutes to get one. All right, if you don't mind, name the restaurants again.
So the restaurants again are Country and Western, The Fish Shack, Coconut Joe's, Agua Restaurant and Lounge, Blue Cilantro, Cayman Cabana, Casa 43, Legends Bar and Grill, Eats, Lavelle, Liberties, Lloyd's Smokehouse and Grill, Papagallo, Sea Harvest, Sunset House, Thai Orchid, Welly's Cool Spot, Petey's Pub and Restaurant, Bacaro Restaurant, Southwest Collective. And of course, this entire campaign could not be possible without Hurley's Media, RCIPS, as well as Heineken Zero, Island Electronics, Pesco, CG Brick K, CEL Beauty Supply, Security Center, National Roads Authority, Kirk Motors, Dart, Blackbeards, Davenport, CIBC, and Flex.
And Flex. What is Flex? That's the only one I didn't know on that whole list.
That's Jay.
So Flex is the Uber of Cayman.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
the Uber
yeah.
of Cayman, all right.
The Uber of Cayman is kind of just actually recently launched, I believe, last week. We sent one of my buddies in it, and he had a great experience.
Okay.
But basically, it's a mobile app that you can download.
Yep.
A great kind of marry this fit for this time of the year as well. But you just go down to the Apple Store, Google Play Store, type in Flex User. And you can download the Flex app, and basically you just put in the location that you're going, you link your credit card to the app, and you put in the location that you're going. It'll give you how much it's going to cost and how far away your driver is, and then that's it. It's cashless. You don't have to worry about going to the ATM or trying to find one while you're stumbling around.
Sure, no,
Make sure money's on your card, otherwise it won't go through.
Fair enough.
You won't get a car.
Yeah, exactly. And all the drivers, certified kind of taxi drivers, got their licenses and everything. So taking Cayman into the future.
That's very creative. And this just launched last week.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Are they part of the crew that's part of the busing?
They are not.
They are not, okay.
But I'm pretty sure we'll be talking in the near future.
Sure. It's just that one more option that...
Maybe, it depends on Jay's magic.
Spirit fingers.
There we go. Still waiting for that rhyme, though. You got 3 minutes. All right, so the bus, again, jumping back to that for New Year's Eve. Walk us through the bus times and schedule, please, as
All
well.
right. So you can catch the Purple Ribbon Bus on New Year's Eve from 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. There are different points you can catch this bus. Morgan's Harbor, Public Beach, Cayman Falls, Coral Beach, Georgetown Library, Camana Bay Terminal 1, Kimpton Seafire, Northside Civic Center, Kaibo Rum Point. And then in the BRAC as well, we'll get you more information. But you can log on to our website, ndc.ky, over the next few days, as well as Hurley's Media, once we get the beautiful map finalized by the planning department. And that'll be up there very soon. And, you could check out our social media pages as well.
Sure. And is it a rotating bus? The bus keeps on driving around through those stops and locations?
Yeah.
So roughly, like for those in the Eastern District, for North Side and East End, how many times would the bus between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. touch that center?
Well, we're hoping that people would not have to wait more than 20 minutes. So the bus will come down from the Civic Center straight down to, let's say, Grand Harbor.
Sure.
Drop those folks off there, and then they will catch another bus.
Okay.
And then that bus will go back to the Eastern Districts. Okay. So we're hoping.
Sure. So just for those for safety purposes that they're sitting outside and they're waiting. So roughly 20-25 minutes is your wait time for
approximately,
the buses.
Right. And there will be water on the buses and masks and hand sanitizers, just making sure that, we do our due diligence as well that evening in keeping with, what public health is instructing us to do in regards to, the pandemic and such.
No, absolutely. Now, will the buses be sprayed down between trips as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's perfect. So our listeners at home, you're fully aware now. That's and all this information again is available at ndc.ky
as well as Hurley's Media.
As well as Hurley's Media.
Yes.
Fair enough. You've got a minute for your rhyme, Jay. Just to let you know your countdown is going. So if you don't mind, again, one more time for those restaurants, because this is a whole month-long campaign for Arrive Alive. And I think the designated driver one is one. I mean, the bus is great for that night. It offers an alleviation of having to worry about how you're getting around.
Yeah.
But the whole month-long campaign is one that I think really takes the logistics, the planning, all of this has come into it, and all of these restaurants have all come on board.
They've said yes. We have people up until yesterday responding to our email saying, we're on board. It's very easy. You just click yes, and you type your restaurant name in, and you're good to go. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to tell us anything else. We'll come out and drop your package. And it's really important as well in regards to the Purple Ribbon buses. A lot of people, like you said, you asked earlier, what's the New Year's resolution? Some people want to save money like me. So top up your gas in the car on the 31st of December. Leave it somewhere. Have your designated driver ready for that evening as well. Go enjoy yourself. Catch the Purple Ribbon bus back to your vehicle. Have your designated driver there ready to take you home and start off 2021 on a full tank of gas.
That's an incredible amount of planning that's gone into that.
There's only two things.
Great. No,
drop the car off, get a designated driver, drive home.
I would offer a comment on that. Well, was not going to be a very appropriate comment about millennials in this day and age, but no, again, a fantastic initiative that y'all have put together here. If you don't mind, Jay, if you could run through the sponsors that have come on board again, just to give them some airtime here.
Yeah, of course. So, in no particular order, we got Jake Scott, CG Brickay, Island Electronics, Kirk Motors Napa, Pestkill, Blackbeard, Security Centre, Davenport Development, CIVC, NRA, DART, Flex, Doctors Hospital, CUC, Rubis, Starbucks, and CEL Beauty. And a massive, massive thank you to them, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. It helps fund the buses, the marketing, the advertising, all the printed materials, the magnets, everything. So
key rings,
everything. That's fantastic. I mean, it truly is. I mean, it's a great scenario, and I think many would like to see this month-long campaign probably blossom into a 12-month campaign.
Well, there are restaurants who actually continue to do the designated driver aspect of it for the year. Yes,
I didn't realize that.
Just let them know, and they'll take it upon themselves, even though it's not during the month of December and it's not really named Arrive Alive throughout the year. But they do take that on and try to support the community. And
it's great.
Yeah.
So now that when you're done planning all this out, can you plan out the next carpooling initiative so people can actually carpool
You're so
together?
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, great. Wouldn't it be awesome though?
It would be.
Since you're already doing
it, would be.
You've done half the work here, right?
I'll let Simon Miller know, because this is all his work.
He isn't here to speak up for himself. So yes, you could actually absolutely convince. So Simon, you are now the countrywide planner for the carpooling initiative by the NDC,
and he'll take all advice from the public and community. He's gonna kill me.
You are cruel. But Simon isn't here to speak up, so I can't.
It's payback.
Jay, any final words before we close off?
No, I think that's it. We covered it all, and I want to thank you for having us here and letting me in.
And you're guaranteed safe passage out of the building. Yeah. We have you got about 30 seconds for a rhyme if you got one.
No, I don't have one.
I'm
freezing up.
Under pressure. Lisa, any final
I
words?
let us down.
I know you have. For those listeners out there, just please go ahead, go online, take the pledge, designate a driver, and ride free on the Purple Ribbon Bus on New Year's Eve. Every life matters. We want to make sure that we've made it this far already through 2020. Let's make it right into 2021. Be responsible and don't drink and drive.
Thank you so much. Any final rhyme from yourself?
No. I can't think of it. Oh my gosh.
All right. All right. Thank you so much again for that. And a very Merry Christmas to you both.
Thank you, and you.
And all the best with the program for the rest of the month.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Talk Today right after our next commercial break.
Miracle Brokers International, your worldwide movers and freight forwarders, continues to work hard to improve their expertise to provide you with the first-class service you have come to expect. Now, together with Consolidated Freight Line, CFL, the specialist in logistical and global cargo solutions, customers can rely on an expanded team of moving professionals that gets the job done in a timely manner. Whether it's your prized possessions, full container loads, less than container loads, ro-ro cargo, or construction equipment, from door to port services, or across the oceans, from destinations such as the U.S., Canada, Asia, the Caribbean, Central and South America, among others. Miracle Brokers and CFL combined networks offers hundreds of expert connections that take the stress out of moving and shipping services. Call today for your free estimate, 949-5989. You can also log on to www.miraclebrokers.com. Miracle Brokers is located at the end of Kingbird Road, just past CUC. Miracle Brokers, the art of packing and moving, 949-5989.
Radio Cayman News.
We can require that everybody coming into the country would need to have a vaccine before they enter.
Last weekend's breach of the quarantine at residence protocols landed 6 people in mandatory quarantine.
There was never any intention to hide this. Finally had a chance to do my due diligence.
But it took a year and more to find out the misunderstanding.
We hope to open the Caribbean's first Hotel Indigo in 2024.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Get ready for Cayman National Dance Company's Retrospective, December 19th at the Harquail Theater. Retrospective is a versatile journey of the company's signature dances and new creations. Tickets are $25 for adults and $15 for children. Available at Audiophile, Bang & Olufsen, Radiance Dance Studio, or simply call 926-1826. Retrospective is sponsored by Burger King, CUC, ARC Directors, Vi's Closet, Big Fish, Radio Cayman, and Hurley's Media.
UCCI students, have you registered for classes in the spring 2021 semester? Class registration takes place until January 8th. Classes start January 11th. Spring into action. Visit ucci.edu.ky/myucci. Call 623-8224 or email admissions@ucci.edu.ky for more information. If you enjoyed The Honeymoon Over, you're going to love the sequel, Fat Chats. Once again, the Harquail Theater will be coming live and direct into your homes and vehicles. As the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, CNCF performs Fat Chats on Radio Cayman. You can join us right here on Radio Cayman every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Starting November the 18th until December 23rd. We will have a repeat of each week's episode airing every Saturday at 6:45 p.m. beginning on November 21st and ending on December 26th. Don't miss it.
Radio Cayman, this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the land.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven.
Praise Time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Bracken, Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we will be having open line for the rest of our show, so we do welcome all of our callers to call in. The number is 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Quick announcement as well. Tonight we will be airing the Cayman National Choir and Orchestra from 7:30 to 9 p.m. tonight. That's the Cayman National Choir and Orchestra. As well as this coming Saturday, Radio Cayman is a proud sponsor of the One Love concert. Takes place over at Coral Beach. That's the Legends event, the One Love concert. But again, we do have open line and quite a number of topics out there that are quite hot, whether globally or locally. Announcement was just made this morning that came out from GIS, that's Government Information Services, that today in Parliament, the Honourable Premier, Mr. Alden McLaughlin, will deliver an update on the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, the vaccine is something that has been heavily discussed, whether it's in newscasts around the world or on social media. And while social media is definitely a place that people can vent and lay out their opinions, unfortunately, many times it's also a place for misinformation. So unfortunately, it's one of those scenarios where whether you are pro or anti-vaxxer, so to speak, we would always caution you to research any information that you are finding before sharing, especially. However, with that being said, it's definitely a controversial topic. When we start talking about injecting foreign objects into our body, it's a very controversial scenario. We just saw Canada has just allowed Pfizer to offer the vaccine throughout Canada, and Canada has made a fairly hefty investment into it. I understand Jamaica's done the same thing, made a hefty investment into the vaccination as well. And part of the conversation, there's so many moving parts to the conversation. We saw, I believe I read an article the other day, if I can pull it up here, it might actually be a little more beneficial to make sure I don't misquote anything that I'm saying. But from what I understand, in the United Kingdom, Pfizer was granted immunity from prosecution with regards to the vaccine. Unfortunately, the computer here that I have in front of me is not allowing me to get back to the article that I read earlier, so I will try again in just a little bit. But while I'm waiting for the article to reload up, I will invite our first caller. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon. How are you today, sir?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Well, a lot of topics, as you say, on today. The COVID one is important. I look forward certainly to the statement by the Premier. But I thought that since it's open mic, I might make one mention of one of the perennial problems in Caymanian society. That perennial problem, sir, is equality. Equality before not just the law in terms of the courts, but also equality just in general in the society. I think this has been ignored for a long time, and I just want to mention 4 instances of it, which I think I can do in 2 minutes, I hope. The first one, one lawyer who I won't mention, but he's very much on Radio Cayman, usually more like on OC's show, he mentioned about going to court and dealing with two different cases. He had a case with a Caymanian. He was a Caymanian, and he was representing another Caymanian. And then there was another case with somebody who is apparently not Caymanian, apparently British, also representing somebody like from that community. And they came out of court at different times, but with two different results. Both were DUI cases. The Caymanian lawyer and his Caymanian client left court license suspended because of a DUI. The other one, license was not suspended. She was, of course, going to be sentenced, but she wasn't sentenced on the day. But basically, there were two cases going to court at the same time. One goes home with a license suspended even before the sentencing is finished. The other one is allowed to even drive during this Christmas season. One bad example. I will give you another example. Since I'm an attorney, I can tell you one time I went before a judge. I won't mention the name. It's not important. She's not on the grand court anymore. I went to court with one argument before a court, and this judge dismissed my argument dismissed it out of hand. A few months later, my stars were on my side. The same judge had a different case, but raising the same issue. And the same argument was made. But you know who was making the argument? It was not me. I look a little bit similar to you, so you know what I mean. And this argument, which was rejected from me when it came from a UK British QC, the same judge accepted it. You understand what I mean? To me, you just assume because you are British, you make an argument, it's accepted. Because I'm not British, I make an argument, the same argument before the same judge. It wins in one case and loses in another case. Third case, I complained against the governor, against a judge who I sued. I won't get into the detail of it. I've already made it public. I went before the governor, and I complained to this judge. Basically, the complaint is that he denied me a fair trial. He told me that I had asked for a video conference hearing late, okay, which is a lie. I had asked for it 8 weeks before. I've got the emails. I've got parties, 8 parties, 12 emails showing that the judge is lying. And you know what the governor did? Instead of referring the matter to the Judicial and Legal Complaints Commission, which he is supposed to do if you give a credible case, what he did was he acknowledged to me, he said, I am expressing considerable concern about what this judge has done. But rather than refer the matter to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, he told me, well, but I think the best thing for you is to sue. So I said, but why are you telling me to sue? There is a provision under the Constitution, Mr. Roper, which says that if I provide credible documentary evidence, you should refer the matter to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. He refused and decided that I should sue. So in other words, I should sue, going back to court, to have my case heard by the same people who eat and drink with the judge I was complaining against. But what did I do? I decided to bring the case over. I sued the governor and the attorney general. And do you know what happened? The governor and the attorney general, they say they want the case struck out. So I said to myself, this is not making sense to me. The governor says he's very concerned with the evidence he has seen. But now I take the matter to court. Instead of him saying, well, let the matter be heard, now they want it to be struck out. But anyway, let me stop that little story there because I say to myself, fine. Okay? So that's the lack of equality. Now, the last one is big. It affects more people, not just me. You will recall that I think I can mention them.
Caller, I'm just going to have to ask you to make it a little quick. We do have to go to a commercial break, so make this one a very quick one.
Very, very quick, yeah. CMR one time reported that Cayman Road reported one time that somebody was charged with a criminal offense. The person was charged with a criminal offense. And when they went to court, they were asked to bring the story down. And yet the story was true. Okay? So why is that? Again, it is because the person involved was one who belongs to the privileged class. So we must look at the issue of equality in this society. There is racism and unequal treatment of people before different institutions. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, caller, for calling in, and I think many will agree with you that there are discrepancies in how we view equality and how we define equality, and we've heard numerous times on the show in regards to certain people receiving more preferred treatment, so to speak, in regards to certain matters. But on that note, let's go to our commercial break. When we come back, we have open line until 2:30. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
This season, Vigoro is stocking something for everyone in our 2 garden centers. Christmas decorations, succulents, ceramics, blooms, orchids, garden sculptures and accessories, mobiles and garden furniture, water fountains and wall art, and even fairies for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 6 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
Hey, I'm so glad you can make it this weekend.
Of course. Wow, this place is amazing. How did you find this?
I found it on Experience Cayman. They have so many staycation ideas.
I'll check it out, but for now, let's hit that pool.
Experience Cayman is a celebration of everything local. To rediscover all the best things to see and do in the Cayman Islands, visit gov.ky/Experience Cayman and follow Experience Cayman on Facebook and Instagram. Brought to you by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure.
Park your car this New Year's Eve and ride the Purple Ribbon Bus. It's free. Be safe and drink responsibly.
Arrive alive 345. Take the pledge, designate a driver, or ride the Purple Ribbon Bus on New Year's Eve. This message is brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we do have open line today until 2:30. And I invite anybody that has anything they want to share with us, whether it's words of wisdom, whether it's words of gratitude, or whether you have some real concerns that you would like to bring up on the show. Please do give us a call. It's 1-800-534-8255. We did have our recent caller who approached the topic of inequality in Cayman society, and it's a topic that we've seen covered in numerous media sources globally as well, that whether it's because of race or whether it's because of gender, whether it's topic specific, whether it's financially specific, whether it's a classism scenario or economic inequality scenario where some receive lighter consequences in legal action, as the caller referenced, or find themselves caught in the vicious circle of within the legal system. And many times that is this very big legal maze at times that you find yourself either not being able to afford to be able to navigate it, or just going at wit's end trying to navigate that system. In definitely a very serious matter, and one that we hope holistically throughout society we're able to address it. Because if we don't, that's where we start seeing the toxicity of society start raising its ugly head. But again, I was mentioning an article earlier in regards to the COVID-19 vaccine, which we're now seeing. Pfizer has been granted a contract with Canada right now, who's going to be bringing in the vaccine, and they've made a significant economic investment into that. But the article I was referencing was an article from The Independent in the UK, and it's that the UK government has granted pharmaceutical giant Pfizer a legal indemnity, protecting it from being sued, enabling its coronavirus vaccine to be rolled out across the country as early as next week. The Department of Health and Social Care has confirmed the company has been given an indemnity protecting it from legal action as a result of any problems with the vaccine. Definitely not an article that bodes for much confidence at times when we have governments across the world trying to figure out ways to combat the negative economic influence of the vaccine that's had on society. But I think one of the most concerning parts of this article, and again for our listeners, if this is the independent article on the indemnity that's been afforded to Pfizer. And one of the concerns was when the managing director of Pfizer's UK company, Mr. Ben Osborne, was asked about this indemnity, he refused to explain. And according to the quote, is that we're not actually disclosing any of the details around any of the aspects of the agreement, and specifically around the liability clauses. So one of those very, very controversial articles in relation to a very controversial situation with regards to these vaccines that are coming out. On that note, we do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ray. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today? Happy Wednesday to you.
And to you, too. I want to say
Happy
my
Thursday.
name so everybody would know who it is calling. My name is Shirlene Schmid. I'm calling from West Bay. Now, I told my friend Susan that I love the music that they have on from especially this morning, because I was dancing to some of it, so I got my exercise. But really what I call in about, Mr. Ray, is the lack of it's not MLAs anymore, the MPs.
Yes, ma'am.
Of no confidence in Mr. McKeever Bush. And I heard people on the radio, which that is their right to do, speaking about the runners on, or marchers, runners on Sunday. But never a word about what happened with McKeever and the court case. The man pleaded guilty. They said what he done. He even cursed the woman, according to the news and whatnot, to the newspaper, I should say. Now, is it okay? Is it all right for the churches to keep silent about this assault on a woman, whether it was assault on a woman or whether it was on a man? The man in McKeever's position should not be even thinking about those kind of things and then using an excuse to do it. They should have said, we don't have no confidence in you anymore. You have to get out because it's causing a lot of disgrace to Cayman. We have people calling from all over. What's going on down there in Cayman? What's going on? Well, tomorrow is a march, and the good Lord spares my life. I will be there, and so is my husband. Now, it should not stop there. The people that we elected, that depending on our vote to be re-elected, they need to do something with this man, because enough is enough. And the pastors of these churches need to speak up if they care anything at all about Cayman, the women of Cayman, or Caymanians, or anybody that live in Cayman, the residents of Cayman, everybody, because they are the pastors. Yet no churches is saying anything. Nobody is saying anything. So it's okay again for him to go on the way he has carried on for the last 10 years or more. So that's what I have to say. And Radio Cayman is my radio station, and I listen to it all the time, especially to the music. And I love to get the news because they bring the news. I thank you again, Mr. Ray, and good afternoon to all of you.
Miss Charlene, thank you so much for calling in this afternoon. I believe Miss Susan Watson has taken deep notes there in regards to your music selection, and I'm sure she will be happy to indulge your exercise dancing routines in the future as well. Again, for listeners, Miss Charlene did mention the march tomorrow, although I wish I had asked her the time. Miss Charlene, if you want to call back in and let us know the time of that march that you recommended or that you referred to, of when that is going to be tomorrow for our listeners. Miss Charlene, are you still there with us?
Mr. Ray?
Yes, Miss Charlene.
It's from 1 o'clock until 3 at the LA building. I wish we could do it the Parliament. I wish we could do it all around the town instead. But who's organized it say it's from 1 to 3 tomorrow afternoon at the Parliament building.
Thank you so much for confirming that, Ms. Shirley. I appreciate that. You have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Okay, on that note, again, we have open line today until 2:30. I do want to thank our callers thus far. 2 important calls and valid points made in regards to both of those calls. And as well, we have a number of topics out there that if you have any comment on, we do encourage you to call in after our 2 p.m. headline news and weigh in. One is your thoughts on the vaccine program. I believe the Honorable Premier will be addressing the vaccines in Parliament today. The other one was with regards to the fees and the quarantining that's been going on. There's been a few hurdles that the team has had to face there with regards to quarantine breaches over the past few weeks. However, they have done a fantastic job. It's something I do want to make sure I put out there because they have done a fantastic job given the number and the sheer logistical planning to try to implement the quarantining program, the monitoring program, and all the initiatives that have gone into it. And it's a shame that unfortunately a handful of incidents have to create these ripples for their team. But if you have any comments on would it be the consequences of the current quarantine breaches or not, please do give us a call and weigh in your voice on that. We're going to go to our 2 p.m. headline news and be back with more talk today right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands has 24 active COVID-19 cases, with a new positive reported in the 337 tests reported since Tuesday. The individual is an asymptomatic traveler. Of the 24 active cases, 19 are asymptomatic, but 5 have symptoms. More than 1,500 people are in isolation. In international news, U.S. entrepreneur Elon Musk has launched the latest prototype of his Starship vehicle from Texas. Codenamed SN8, the uncrewed rocket lifted away from the Boca Chica R&D facility on what had been billed as a brief flight to 41,000 feet. The 50-meter-tall vehicle crashed on touchdown, but Mr. Musk was delighted with how much the test outing achieved. Starship will launch people and cargo into orbit, and the entrepreneur also envisages the vehicle traveling to the moon and Mars. A memorial dedicated to Anne Frank was desecrated with stickers showing swastikas. The Anne Frank Memorial in Boise, Idaho was vandalized on Tuesday. The stickers had swastikas with the words, "We are everywhere," written on them. The singer Taylor Swift has announced Thursday that she is dropping her 9th studio album. The album will be out tonight at midnight Eastern, called Evermore. Her 8th album, Folklore, dropped this summer to both critical and commercial success.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
It is the season of giving, and there is no better place to shop than Penha, Mac, and Victoria's Secret. Amazing savings on already low prices, and when you sign up for the Penha loyalty card, you get 3% back on all your purchases. And while you shop, enter raffles to win major prizes up to $5,000. Penha, Mac, and Victoria's Secret on 40 Cardinal Avenue in Georgetown.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you were just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we do have open line until 2:30 today. We have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I just want to say to the last caller there, my friend, Miss Charlene.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not here to take anybody's side, and I just want to say that, none of us is perfect. Not one godly person on earth is perfect. Not even God was. And he died for us and he came back. And I just want to say that, whatever that man may have done, we need to let God deal with him. Because man on earth is not going to deal fairly with the situation. It bothers a lot of people. It bothers me, but it's nothing I can do. So we need to leave it in God's hands and let God take care of it. If the house don't have any intention of removing him, I don't know why we're going to sit and rub our guns together, because they're not going to solve anything. That man been in government for many years, have did a lot of good things for the Cayman. He has made some mistakes here and there, and I am quite sure that he's not the only one in the house who has skeletons in their closet. All of them got skeletons. All of us out here got skeletons. By the time that we sit and crow down our own Caymanians, we need to try to uplift them, because if someone has a ganja stick or steal $5, they throw them in jail. By the highfalutin government official, they may get a slap on the wrist and still be able to work or be on house arrest for a short period of time. It can come back into society and do what they did before as the part of the government, or do something else to continue to survive and live in the Cayman Islands. We are too small to keep holding grudges against each other. Cayman is too small. There's too much hatred in this island. I am not saying what the man done. Any man should never, ever put a hand on a woman. And a woman should never put a hand on a man. But let me tell you something, sir. Nobody knows what escalates when somebody put their hand on each other. No one knows but those two individuals. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I just want to say, let God take care of Mr. McKeever Bush, because we as the people of this island, we got no power, we got no say, and furthermore, like I said, the house got him there. They know why they got him there, and his power may seem bigger than God's power right now, but God's power is bigger and greater. So let's just try to bring 2021 in with a little bit more love, a little bit more care and concern for our own Caymanians, because we have absolutely no way to go. We have to stay here, we have to die here, and we have to be buried here. So I just want to say no disrespect to anyone up there. All of us got skeletons in the closet, and all of us make mistakes. And that's what the Bible is all about, forgiving. But we as the people of this island do not believe in forgiving each other. We just like to keep everybody down, and that's where they get their strength from, by keeping down their own people. But they will uplift a foreigner that comes to our island. Sir, I thank you for your time.
Thank you for calling in. Very powerful call there, past few calls there. that we've had. To our last caller's point, one of the items that comments she made, which I think is so powerful, is the influence and the power of forgiveness. This conversation I had today with one of my colleagues here is that power of forgiveness and how it eliminates the divisiveness that we find throughout society. And there's so much divisiveness in society. We see a march tomorrow, which is, whether it's inclusive in nature, has potential for divisiveness in the future. There is so much divisiveness across the world, not just in Cayman. There's so much across the world. We saw it just very recently with the U.S. elections. And there's just so much as always out there that's pushing us apart. And to that caller's point, 2021 is almost here, and it would be a refreshing way to look at coming out of this year, to be able to step into 2021 with society as a whole in some meaningful way working towards the betterment of each other. And I think forgiveness is one of those powerful tools, whether in respect to this particular matter or in any matters. And I think we all have, to that caller's point, every one of us has those skeletons in our closet, and every one of us has the power to forgive of those who have hurt us in the past. But a very powerful call again. So before the call, we had talked about a few elements, and one of them, and I bring up the vaccine topic again since our own Honourable Premier will be addressing it today in Parliament. And it's the vaccine situation. It's this scenario where we're now seeing the conversation evolve on COVID-19, and there's so many arguments on both sides of the fence. We saw, I briefly just mentioned before the break, the indemnity ruling that was made in favor of Pfizer in the UK, which prevents them from being sued in relation to situations that might evolve with the vaccine. It's one of those concerning ones. Legal remedy has always been ingrained for the past several hundred years as a remedy for if someone has done something that's wrong. And if something goes wrong with the vaccine, and especially for those in the UK, there's a little legal remedy against the group that's actually making the vaccine. And that's a concerning one, especially if the conversation evolves into mandatory vaccinations, or if scenarios where I've heard, I was trying to find the article preceding the break, about potentially for employers in the U.S. to prevent someone from working if they don't have the vaccine. And it's a conversation which right now is taking place in professional sports with regards to the vaccine, with more lockdowns that are currently in place in various jurisdictions, and the remedy for vaccination and organized sports, for example, organized sports throughout most of Canada is off the table right now. Conversation around hockey, one of the sports that I tend to follow a little bit, is around this vaccination and whether if the league comes back up, what and how do they handle mandatory vaccinations from a players association to a team level to a league level, and how does that transcend across society? Does it mean, what if it comes down to the school level? What if vaccinations for COVID-19 are mandatory before you can send your child to school? What if? And it's all these what if conversations because we're still in the what if mode of the conversation. And what better time to have this conversation about vaccinations and about the potential for it. But with the same vein of that conversation, there is so much misinformation that's out in the community or out on social media about vaccinations or about intentions. And we saw that I caution anybody who has watched a video on vaccinations or read articles about the vaccinations to do their own due diligence on the sources of the information. I'm not saying anybody on either side of this conversation is right or wrong. We all have opinions on it. When I was last asked on the show by an elite member of the community what I thought about the vaccinations, I was hesitant. I'm not going to lie. I tend to prefer the more natural means of living and eating holistically and living holistically. And there was something that tended to rub me the wrong way about a vaccination program like this. But having said that, it's not something that I've ruled out in its entirety. It's just something that I'm scrutinizing, which I would encourage anybody to scrutinize, especially if you're a parent and we're talking about your child in the process. Because we're not talking about just your body. We're talking about your child's body and you having the right of say on what happens with your own child. So definitely a big topic there, and I do encourage anybody that has an opinion on the matter, please do give us a call. The other one was in regards to the quarantine and the quarantine breaches, rather. There was a lot of conversation taking place across social media over the past few days, and even on our station as well, and on other stations in regards to the quarantine breaches and the community service hours and the fee or the fine that was levied in regards to the recent breach, which was to cover the cost of quarantining at a government facility. And then there was the security breach at a government facility and the need to increase security at those facilities. And it's unfortunate that for the number of individuals that are within the quarantining program, we're talking about thousands that are going through that program, that it takes a handful to really just bring pour light on the program in some cases. And it's truly unfortunate because there's a lot of work that the government has done in that regard to ensure the safety of the community, to ensure the comfort, relative comfort of those who are quarantining, and the massive initiative to offer a balance to economic stability and to start the phased opening of borders, and the amount of consideration that has gone into that to see situations where individuals have flat out taken advantage of it. It just shows a complete lack of regard on their part, and more so a lack of regard on the community part. Like, it's just so much that has been omitted when they do things like that. That part of me believes that stiffer consequences might have been more befitting of those circumstances. I appreciate that no one wants to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. But given the significant amount of effort that's gone into these programs, the favorable position that Cayman finds itself in compared to many other jurisdictions globally, when individuals like this, and I reference it, it's individuals or a handful of individuals who do this and jeopardize an entire community or jeopardize an entire program and just make it difficult. My opinion, and strictly my opinion, is that consequences should be a little harsher for those regards. On that note, we do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go to our caller in just a moment. We're going to our 2:15 commercial break. When we come back, then we'll take the caller. Back with more talk today right after this.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Are you ready for the reggae show of the year? Bacardi presents One Love. One Love. Concert Series, bringing to you Mr. Notch and Local Motion 345, Stuart Wilson, Erica Asai, and DJ Nico. It's going down Saturday, December 12th at Coral Beach. Tickets only $25. VIP inclusive drink $65. Cabana packages $200. Available now at eventpro.ky.
Brought to you by Bacardi, Burger Shack, Supermix, Rubis, and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for the tail end of our show, I'm Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we do have open line until the end of our show at 2:30. And we have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing quite all right. The weather is quite nice outside. It's the holiday spirit's upon us. So it's right now I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm fine. I just recovered from eye surgery. I thank publicly Dr. Steve Tamilson. He did a great job in this surgery. We have a great surgeon, you know, Dr. Steve Tamilson. God bless him. He's one of the best doctors we have in this island, and I thank publicly the staff of Savannah Clinic, Dr. Steve Tamilson and his staff, and he's a great man and he did a great job.
Congratulations on coming through the surgery. We're very happy that was successful.
Yes. First, you know, I would like to speak about in general the freedom of speak in Cayman in general, and I think I am one of the people always face sometimes I've been cut in the radio for saying my public opinion, and in general we have a problem in the issue of freedom of speak. You know, if you speak in Cayman, people will go after you, will hurt you in your job, in your life, in your family life. Politicians will hurt you, will do too much stuff against you. And this is not just happening to me, it's happening to other people. And I think when we have a government radio or Radio Cayman in general as a government radio, I always appreciate the radio for bringing everything happening in this island. Yes, it's but sometimes we bring the wrong people and put them to sit in the seat of the talk show, and those people are taking it personal, you know, like what happened with me in the morning show, in the record. Sometimes I have issue with the host, and he taking it a personal issue, while I am a person who never take issues as a personal issue. I am taking every matter I speak about is something affecting the country, affecting the people who live in this country. And I am a person who always, if I am not concerned about general public stuff, I will not, you know, I will not be like every foreigner who come here, his attention to collect every dollar and cent and don't care what happening to the people of this country. I think when you have a daughter like my daughter, she's 9 years old, she's Caymanian, and I am not going to live for long, but I will fight for her future, for every child's future in this country. And I think we need to respect each other's opinion. And this style, you know, cutting people from the radio, I think it is the Middle East style, you know, like dictatorship countries, in some Arab countries, in some Middle Eastern countries could happen. But I feel strange it happened in Grand Cayman. Just recently in Talk Today, was one lady, just because Mr. Miller related to her, she cut me off from the radio. I think it was...
So with that regard, I appreciate. I wouldn't quite put the Grand Cayman talk show in the same limelight as Middle Eastern talk show, but with that regard, I believe you've been offered the opportunity to call on to our shows on numerous occasions. I've never cut you off myself that I can recall, but the show does have certain requirements. One is a time requirement, and so for some hosts, depending on the time of show you call, for example, if you had made this call at 2:29, I would have little choice but to cut you at 2:30. The other side of the coin on that is we have a disclaimer at the start of the show that we don't allow abusive elements or false statements, so to speak, or even misleading statements, which is probably a more accurate term rather than false. So with regards to misleading statements or concerns or accusations, that's one where it's very common on talk shows. And I appreciate your point, though, on certain points, that you want to have an avenue that you can call on the show and air your concerns, your grievances, and seek some kind of solution via a public domain, even if that solution is only just to air your frustrations. But with that same vein, and these are my colleagues as well, but they know my viewpoints off the radio as well. My viewpoints are that as long as you're being respectful from your end of the call, then my job on my side is to offer the vehicle to actually be an open forum for you to be able to address your concerns.
Yes, I just want to say here, first, I personally, I have never have an issue with you personal. I think you are very professional.
Thank
you
you,
are
sir.
very, you run the show very professional, and I never have issue with you. I think the issue is not with any staff of Radio Cayman or something. It's just my concern that, you know, when always I speak in the radio from years, I challenge anyone that he ever go to court and sue me for what I said, because I never says anywhere anything. I don't have evidence, physical evidence in my hand to support what I say. Because if I say somebody is corrupted and I say this person name, that I say this member, for example, this member of the certain board, he is corrupted, I will have for sure evidence in my hand that this person is corrupted, and I have evidence, physical evidence in my hand to support what I said, because I am an honest person, number one. Number two, I am very smart person. I know what I'm saying. I know what I speak about. And when I speak about people by name, I have evidence in my hand for what I say. So that is why none of them have the courage and the guts to go to court and sue me for what I said, because they know that Amjad Zuraigat is always honest for what he said, and he have evidence in his own hand. If I don't have evidence, I will not accuse anyone anything. No matter who is he, I don't afraid of anyone.
Sure.
I speak before about governor's son, about premier. I speak about ministers. I speak about MLAs. And none of them get the guts to go and sue me, because they know what I'm saying is correct and true and honest. That's why I am different from everyone speaking in the public radio, because I am a person, I always speak the truth. And the truth sometimes it upsets some people in this country.
Sure.
And it's very sad.
You know, caller, you're absolutely right. I mean, the truth, unfortunately, does frustrate some people. Just one question for you then in regards to that, because there's limited scope that as a talk show we have the ability to find the remedy or the solutions for some of your concerns. Have you approached the various entities, the legal entities, or the boards and committees that are, whether it be the commissions, whether it be the legal system, to address some of those individuals that, instead of using the talk show as the platform, to actually utilize the vehicles that are in place to address them, whether it's the anti-corruption commissions, whether it's the courts, or any of the other vehicles that are available to you and to the public?
Yeah, you see, unfortunately, we have problem here. The problem is that those people know and hear about everything I am speaking about, and they have no movement to do something about it. Unfortunately, we have a system who is set to protect the corrupted one, maybe corrupted politically. I speak before about immigration board, who's politically corrupted, and the premier still insists to appoint the same people. He changed the head of the board, I have respect to him, but he never changed the members of the board who are corrupted politically. And I will not hide to speak about them. I will speak about them election time, because I'm going to say their names and what they done. That's at the time of election, not now.
So, caller, on that note, I do need to cut you. Unfortunately, I do need to cut you right there because we are coming to the end of our show. But again, talk shows are here for exactly that, for you as the caller, for you as the listener, and for the public, for whoever, anybody in the public, to exercise your opportunity to come on to the government radio station and have an opportunity to discuss your concerns in an open forum, factually though, and fairly, is one of the other scenarios I put out there, is a fair opportunity for everyone, and including the hosts and the guests on the show, to be able to speak their minds in an open forum as well. But that's the very nature of talk radio, and as representative of Radio Cayman and our government station, I stand 100% behind that commitment, that's what we're here for, is to offer that vehicle to the entire community. So I thank our caller again for calling in and bringing his points to light. He's not alone in some of the concerns that he has raised. I thank all of our callers today for giving us a call and voicing their concerns. But on that note, we do need to call it a wrap for today's show. Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation, to Miss Susan Watson and our guests from the National Trust, the Botanic Park, and the NDC. It has been a pleasure bringing you talk today, and on behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, thank you for sharing your afternoon with us. I'm Raymond Singh. God bless, and have a safe rest of your day.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.